My name is Lorraine. I'm from Brainerd, Minnesota. And when I was probably 6 or 7, probably in 1938, 39, I was with my parents, and I was riding my bicycle, which I had a new bicycle, and I fell and hurt my arm. And they took me to Brainerd to see what was wrong, and they took x-rays, and took 3 x-rays, and the doctor indicated that he couldn't get it set just right, but that I would have open and shut movement, but I wouldn't have the wrist movement. And at that time, my father was from the First World War. He didn't want anyone cutting into my elbow. And so he said, well, you know, that would be what we'd have to live with. And so I went home, and my arm continued to hurt. And when I went back again, the doctor explained that it was locked in position, so I didn't have any movement. So my parents, my father belonged to DAVs, veterans, and the Legion and all, and they, through one of the associations, called the Mayo Clinic, and they said to come down. And apparently by the time I got here, the Mayo doctors were not happy at all and said that 24 hours later gangrene would have set in. They would probably had to amputate. And so they operated, and I went home and came back later, and took the cast off, and I've been wonderful ever since. Full movement of my arm, and I've always been very, very active. In school, played all the ball and everything, and I've never had any problem with it whatsoever. In Brainerd, I had a half-brother that's 12 and a half years older than I, and we never grew up together much, but he was visiting with my family, and my family met this gal that was had a cabin in Brainerd, but she's from Rochester. And so they got very friendly and ultimately married, and this gal is Henry Plummer's daughter. She has now passed away, but I met also Henry Plummer's wife. I was quite thrilled to be able to do that, and though we were never very close, we visited at least yearly or so. And my 2 oldest boys, when they were like 10 and 11, she brought them to Rochester and to the Quarry Hills where they lived, had the mansion. And she always fussed, though, because, well, I took them to the Kale, this wonderful place to eat, and all they wanted was a hamburger. In the years, I just never had the time or the opportunity to come down without absolutely making a trip of it. Mm-hmm. So I still hope to see Quarry Hill, the mansion there. So it'd be very interesting. Mm-hmm. I have always wanted to see some of the history, and also, you know, the modern hospital it is today compared to what it was in mid-1800s and so forth, from people that I am associated with and that need care. Mayo is always recommended, and it's just too bad that all the hospitals don't have to come up to the same criteria as the Mayo. Mayo is always, even throughout the country and the world, of course, known as the very excellent medical care. Mm-hmm. I think it's a tribute to the Mayo Clinic, mm-hmm. that they were able to fix me up as good as they did.